So you've made it to the end of 2020, or maybe at least we can see the finish line. And while this year probably didn't turn out the way that we had kind of wrote down and made our little checklist for the year, we're at the end. And now we probably have one or two lingering decisions that maybe we put off. This is Ron Wysakarski at Wise Home Team Realty. And today I want to talk about what happens next. This year, obviously, for most people, was one of the more difficult years, a set of challenges that we faced maybe in our lifetime. We would at least have to go back to 2008 and feel the financial crisis to see such awkward movement in the real estate space that almost defied logic. Of course, this year the prices really didn't go down like 2008 in that time period, but everything was different the way that we moved and sold property. So what's next? Well, if you were in the process of moving, say in January, February, and it was short-circuited by COVID, I get that. And now we're maybe feeling a little bit more comfortable. We see the elections to be done in a couple of weeks. And where do we go by the end of 2020? Well, we may need to do a few repairs at the house. We're coming to the end of hurricane season, end of election, kids are in school. All that exhaustion, while it's carried some weight, we've avoided the topic of when's it time to move. We realize that inventory has been low, so I've heard a lot of reasons. I'm not going to sell right now because there's nothing to buy. Well, the inventory is trickling up ever so slightly right now, and there's going to be more opportunity. Sales have not slowed down dramatically, but they're slower than they were. People pause in the month of October. It's a very natural thing, and so we see some buyers actually getting some deals this month. So what steps can we take between now and the end of the year if we want to move? And would that be an advantage? So if you're selling, there may be 100 reasons to sell after the first of the year, and most people will choose to do that. But for the brave ones or the bold ones, selling right now could be hitting the top of the market. If things go a little bit sideways, you're protected. Could be a tax strategy involved that maybe you want to get that sale in for the capital gains before the end of the year if your financial advisors are advising that. It also could be that the interest rates are super low. I saw a friend of mine get a number in the 2s on his interest rate. That's crazy, and yet it's happening. So if the sellers are staying on the market a little bit longer and the buyers are finding some deals right now, then it could be a chance for somebody to sell high but buy into a little bit better market than just a couple of months ago. And if you're not ready right now, I get it, and it's okay. What happens next for you after the first of the year? I do expect a lot of inventory to start hitting the market, and not just for the COVID reasons. I think there's a lot of activity waiting to happen. There's a lot of apprehension about what move to make next. And I believe that most people after the holidays will make that decision to put the house on the market and feel more confident. So I do think we see some inventory coming, and that will create some excitement and some stress in the market. With the sales of October and November and possibly December, if the numbers are a little bit off, which we're seeing, it could affect your appraisal. So if you have a $300,000 house right now and your neighbor sells for $290,000, even if you get $300,000 after the first of the year, you may have difficulties with appraisals. We're seeing it right now. We had one come in $50,000 below the other day, and somehow we made the deal work. We feel that we got a bad appraisal on it. We were able to work through it, but this is happening right now, and it's just a reality. Now, the buyer felt they were getting a good deal. The seller thought they were getting a good deal. They moved forward with it. The purchase price, wasn't so much of it. It was really just the type of loan that they were getting, which was greatly affected by this appraisal. These are things that as you're making that decision of what happens next, you want to take into consideration. And I am by no means suggesting that we're heading back to 2008, but I do know that a $200,000 house was suddenly worth $150,000 within a short time period. And even if the buyer wanted to pay $200,000, unless they were paying cash or could put down a gigantic down payment, the loan was not going to go through. So with these things on our mind, does it feel like pressure? Sure, and we're delaying decisions because it doesn't feel good right now to make big decisions. All I can say is this: take the time that you need to decide, do I really want to move? And if you don't, it's okay. But if you do, it's a great time to talk to your CPA. The tax season is pretty much at a standstill right now. All the taxes are done. Talk to them. Talk to your attorney if you need to. Whatever you need to set up between now and the end of the year. And just know, does it make sense to think about doing something this year? And if it does, let us know. We'd be happy to consult on that. And if it doesn't, go into 2021 knowing that it's not a new ball game. It's a continuing the ball game that started the fourth quarter of 2020. So Tons of uncertainty out there right now, and I get it, and we're exhausted, but we're here to help. This is Ron Wojciechowski at Wise Home Team Realty with a couple of thoughts about the end of the year and what comes next.